Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to our Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3 Thoughts video. I just finished watching Episode 3, The Battle of Winterfell. I'm not sure if that's the actual episode title name, but that's what we got. We got a whole big old battle. The dead army's here, and they kick some ass. Spoiler alert for this episode, obviously. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts about it, so if you haven't watched the episode, I don't know why you'd watch this video. But yeah, my thoughts on this episode was, boo! Wow, this was a pretty great episode. They delivered what they promised, which was a huge, long, battle, which was awesome. It was a great sequence. There was a couple parts where I was just like, and a couple parts where I was like, oh yeah, kick some ass, and other parts where I'm like, ooh, damn shit. So I was all over the place with this, and I thought that was a good thing. I was expecting there to be more major character deaths. I have to admit, I was a little surprised. I thought there was going to be a few more. There were some significant characters who died. My personal one who I'm sad about is Theon, because I liked him. I liked his redemption arc. I was kind of hoping he was the one that was going to take out the Night King. Spoiler alert, guys. The Night King gets killed in this, and I didn't know I wanted it to be Arya, but when it ended up being Arya, I was like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted. And I just love that it's just at the very last second, the very last possible second, as the Night King's about to, it's just taking out his sword to go chop down Bran. I love it. I just thought it was a great choice, and who was it? And I didn't see it coming at the same time, especially since you see Arya kind of struggling to keep her stuff together throughout this episode. At one point you see her running through this, like, the library kind of place, the store. There's a bunch of shelves, and she was trying to hide from the White Walkers. That part gave me anxiety for her. I was just like, what's gonna happen? I had a lot of anxiety throughout this whole episode because I was just waiting for people to die. I thought they were all gonna die within the first 5 minutes. It did seem that way at first. It seemed like everyone was just gonna be dead. They were just gonna wipe out, and then they're just gonna roll the credits and be like, yeah, there's no more episodes for this season. But we did get a whole hour actually of them fighting it out, and all our favorite characters kind of still kicking around. We still got Jamie, we still got Bree, and we got a bunch of them still kicking around. We still got Tyrion and Sansa, who for a moment I was like, are they gonna kill themselves? And then they didn't. I was very happy. I would have been very sad if they did that. Then, Arya saves the day. But yeah, overall, I thought this episode was really great. Some of my general thoughts I've written down. I like that the white woman shows up. This was a rumor or a prediction I had heard on a few different podcasts / YouTube videos I had watched about this upcoming episode, like predictions about this. So that was one of the things that I kind of liked what she did when she showed up. She shows up, lights some swords on fire, then hangs back. And I'm just like, yeah, why not? Gives Arya the idea, I guess, a little bit too, to go after the Night King when she makes a joke about, well, not a joke, but a reference to blue eyes. So I thought that was interesting. I like that we see the dire wolf trying to charge into battle. I don't like that we don't see that it survived or not, so that's a disconcerting thought. So I hope the pup's still kicking around, but it's not likely. That was another thing. I don't know if one of the dragons is dead or not. That was a thing that seemed a little unclear, because Jon lost his dragon at one point, and then Daenerys, her dragon, swamped by a bunch of the dead. So it's unclear. I only saw one dragon at the end of this episode, so I'm not sure if one of them might have not quite made it through the episode, so we'll have to find that out. That's a big part of the way this ended. You don't know 100% sure about some characters, whether they're still kicking or not. I don't think they showed Sam or not at the end, so I don't know if Sam's still kicking. There's a lot that's still a little unresolved. I kind of like that they left that way too, that ended the episode right after them just pretty much winning the battle. And we're just going to have to go from there. So I'm really curious to see where they're going to pick it up from there. Another great part of this battle was seeing the dragons fight. That was just a really cool sequence. I like that they didn't overdo it too much. I could have used a little bit less of the storm. I understand what it was for. And if I was, the Night King and had the ability to bring in the storm too, I would too. That being said, it made things a lot of this was very blurred a little bit. It was tough to keep track of certain things because there's a lot was going on in this episode, but for the most part you were able to keep track of stuff. But once in a while there was a part where like, did somebody actually important just die? Did that guy who Arya slept with last episode die? I think he's still alive, but I'm not sure. It looked like at one point he might have just got stabbed in the face, but I'm not sure. It's hard to say because some parts they were just moving really quick. Another kind of bittersweet part in this one was the little lady, I can't remember her name, but the head of the one family of the North, who's like 12. She will, on the cool part is she kills a giant, which is cool. Oh, an Ice Walker giant, which was cool. But she dies in the process. First she gets knocked across, and then she gets squished like a grape. It was, like I said, bittersweet. It was sweet because she killed a giant, and I like that, this little girl could kill a giant. Don't like she had to get, brutalized in order to do it, but that is war. What else do I have written down? Oh, it was interesting to see that the Night King was invulnerable to Dragon's Fire, but it also kind of made sense. This episode would have been way too easy if they could just, hit him with some Dragon's Fire. So that was an interesting little thing we noticed. And then him bringing back the dead from this battle itself. The dead from this battle itself, and then obviously the dead from the crypts where all of the not soldiers, all the civilians were hiding out, including Tyrion and Sansa. And it was just that was another thing I heard in the predictions. A lot of people being like, yep, they're just all going to come to life eventually. It did seem like it took a little longer for the Night King to get there, which makes me think he probably had to be in some kind of proximity thing. Like, I don't think he can just do it to any dead. But that being said, it was kind of an interesting thing to see. It was weird that they didn't have any kind of guards down in the crypts at all. It didn't seem that way, at least, or there were very, very, very few. So that was a little weird. Or even weapons, like, you want just art. Like, I get that there were women and children and stuff, but still just give them a couple knives, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I was sad about Tyrion going at the end. But yeah, overall, I thought this was really great. I thought they handled a lot of it really well, and I love that Arya was the, savior of the day in the sense. But that's all my thoughts for this episode of Game of Thrones. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. Thanks again for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.